This is another red alert. Wikileaks is about to announce a NASA hoax. Apollo missions were never made. Apollo missions never made moon landings. This is what is revealed by a NASA retired official. Now, according to the NASA site, information concerning Apollo 11 mission overview. The mission's primary objective of Apollo 11 was to complete a national goal set by President John F. Kennedy, May 25, 1961, perform a crewed lunar landing and return to the Earth. Additional flight objectives include scientific exploration by the Lunar Module, or LM, crew deployment of television camera to transmit signals to Earth, and deployment of a solar wind composition experiment, seismic experiment package, and a laser ranging retroreflector during the exploration. The two astronauts were to gather samples of lunar surface materials for return to Earth. They also were to extensively photograph lunar terrain, the deployed scientific equipment, the LEM spacecraft, and each other, both with still and motion picture cameras. This is to be the last Apollo mission to fly a, quote, free return trajectory, end quote, which would enable a return to Earth with no engine firing, providing a ready abort of the mission at any time prior to lunar orbit insertion. Apollo 11 launched from Cape Kennedy July 16, 1969, carrying Commander Neil Armstrong, Command Module pilot Michael Collins, and Lunar Module pilot Edwin Buzz Aldrin into an initial Earth orbit of 114 by 116 miles. An estimated 500 million people, 530 million people, watched Armstrong's televised image and heard his voice describe the event as he took, quote, one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind, end quote. He said this as he landed on July 20th, 1969. As is explained in detail in the NASA site for Apollo 11 mission, it says the descent engine continued to provide braking thrust until about 102 hours, 45 minutes into the mission. Partially piloted manually by Armstrong, the Eagle landed in the Sea of Tranquility in Site 2 at 0 degrees 41 minutes 15 seconds north latitude and 23 degrees 26 minutes east longitude. It was about 4 miles downrange from the predicted touchdown point. Occurred almost 1.5 minutes earlier. The schedule included a power descent that ran a mere nominal 40 seconds longer. And now, the reason I'm citing this location is because the Chinese moon mission claims that they went there, this exact location where Apollo 11 was supposed to have landed, and there was absolutely no indication of anything having ever landed there. The orbit at the end of the Apollo 11 mission site says the orbit, the location of the landing was lunar location Sea of Tranquility, lunar coordinates 71 degrees north, 23.63 degrees east. Now, there are some people that will not believe what Wikileaks is about to disclose, but apparently what they are about to disclose is the fact that, as revealed to them by a former NASA employee who was working with NASA for the past 45 years, now retired, it appears that NASA never went to the moon, and that this whole moon landing story is a complete hoax and a fraud. This NASA official claims that this moon landing never ever happened. He confirms that it never happened. And according to new documents that are to be released this week by Wikileaks' Julian Assange, so if these documents are real, of course they would create chaos and havoc and would damage the credibility of NASA and NASA's moon missions. Julian Assange, the founder of Wikileaks, who is still in asylum in the Ecuadorian Embassy of London, claims that he has been given documents by a government worker of NASA which show that the Apollo missions of NASA never took place. In other words, there was never a moon landing. According to Assange, he has been handed documents, official documents, NASA documents, by a government official working for NASA, high-ranking, for the past 45 years. We remember that the Chinese moon missions came out with a public statement last year claiming that when they landed on the moon, they found no evidence of any past moon landings. They landed on the area, they extensively examined the area where the Apollo 11 landing was said to have taken place and claimed that it never did take place. They found no evidence of any type of landing there, and that's why they publicly, worldwide, came out with a request from that the American government and NASA prove that they actually landed on the moon, something that was never proven. Nevertheless, the Chinese did request that the United States prove worldwide that they did land on the moon, because they claimed that when they went, their moon landing apparatus detected no landing whatsoever, that the moon surface was clean. Clean, that is, from Apollo mission evidence of having landed. Now, it's a very odd statement that the former President Barack Obama made concerning NASA missions to the moon when he was asked, and he explained that, well, why should we go to the moon anyway? We've already been there, so let's go somewhere else. I mean, what kind of a logic is that? Have you explored the whole of the moon? Of course you have not. And you have not been there since 1969. And supposedly we have eons of more modern technology now than we did then. Of course, we still use the Russian program to take astronauts to the International Space Station because Americans can't get a rocket off Earth into space, so we have to use Russians to take our astronauts to the International Space Station. That's another oddity there. We went to the moon, but we can't take astronauts to the International Space Station, a little bit outside of Earth's atmosphere. So many people are a little bit peeved, or a little bit skeptical about why Obama said, well, we've already been to the moon, why should we go there again? Now, I'll leave a link below for you for the video by George Norrie, Wikileaks to reveal NASA hoax, says George Norrie, and you can watch the video on your own. At the end of the video, you'll see the lander taking off from the moon. Now, the camera folded up so it had to be manned. Somebody had to be holding this camera that was following the lander taking off into space back for Earth. Did they leave someone behind to do this? This is so laughable. It's really illogical. Who was on the moon left taking a video of the lander taking off towards Earth? Could anyone explain that to me? So I'll leave a link below for you for this video. You can watch it on your own.